Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill and I am so excited to bring you today's live video. We're tuning into you in this beautiful last few days of April from Frederick, Colorado at Transwest Truck Trailer RV. You can always find me at 303-562-8659. Again, 303-562-8659. And today I get the privilege of showing you the 2025 Revel. And if you've already been familiar with this product and you want to know how it got better, that's what we're going to focus on today. So Jody, as usual, I like to start my videos from the inside out. So please go ahead and take her on back. I'm going to zip around the rear and meet you in this fantastic bed. Same width, definitely an improved mattress. We have the Revel and the Revel Sport now available to you. The Revel Sport's really a throwback to the floor plan that was launched in 2021. That's available in 2025, but there's a lot of differences between the coaches. So if you're interested in the differences, keep tuned. I'm going to go ahead and do a difference video coming up. But today we'll focus on the fact that this has a 2-layer mattress. So there's a nice firm underlayer with a plush soft top. And for those of you that are looking for the space, as you can see, lots and lots of room to lay down and be comfortable. So some of the improvements that they've come up with, of course, are going to have to do with the battery management system. Now, why do we need a good battery management system? Because we want to keep our air conditioner running. Your longer air conditioning power, of course, is going to depend on how much you're using it. So in 2025, when they did this redesign, they came up with this really cool little drop-down curtain. So when you drop this curtain down, as you can see, it actually will cut, not only blacking out the center for you so that you can get better sleeping in capacity, you know, extra shut-eye if you've had a long night the night before, but also to keep that insulation in so that if you're running your air conditioner, it's going to keep that cool air in this part of the coach. When you're in this part of the coach, please see that they've got these nice cutouts giving you this extra room. One of the things I think is rather interesting is for somebody like me that's vertically challenged, if you wanted to completely remove this little guy here, you've got a really cool ledge. You could definitely keep some, you know, a water bottle, your books, whatever it might be, if you're camping a little bit longer. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the ability to camp a little longer in this Revel. Now over here, we've got some netting that we've added. And then of course, as you can see on either side of the bed, you've got the USB type A and C, both available to you on either side. So this will sleep too comfortably. No one needs to argue over who gets the phone charger. You've got a nice screen and also another blackout shade. Now, this slate package has a lot of nice creature comforts. There's an upgraded package that has kind of a funky interior color, but it has magnetized window coverings that you can actually put on this window. You can purchase any of those products directly from either us here at Transwest or from Winnebago. So if you want those thermal covers that are reflective to go on top of these windows, you can always get those on the side. So Jody, go ahead, come on back. Let's take a look at some of the things that we've done to improve this coach, starting from the rear. One of the things that we've done is we've removed a lot of the connections here. Fewer connections, fewer problems, right? So as you can see, your freshwater inlet is right here. You've got your light switch, very easy to get to. You've got a washcloth holder, so a little hold right there. And then of course you've got your quick connect for your hot and cold shower. And then you have your fresh tank water valve and your winterizer valve all right here. So very easy to access. And then as you can see, we've got our tie downs all throughout here. And then this honeycomb floor is just the beginning of the insulative properties of this coach. So one of the things that Revel does differently than anyone else is they use an automotive grade insulation that's actually sprayed into the walls of this coach. So it's covering even those little air pockets. And then they use a reflective, heat reflective and cold reflective material, 2 different layers that reflect in and out to keep that heat either out of the coach or in the coach, depending on what time of year it is. Another great aspect of the Winnebago Revel is going to be that you'll see that there's a rear heating vent here. This is running off of our hydronic heating zone. So you've got a dual zone system. You can actually heat the rear of this coach to a different temperature than the front of this coach with hydronic heat. And that hydronic heat is actually Superstars and all these like big fancy coaches that I have, it's a dual loop system. Different in the fact that that dual loop in a large RV is serving it so that you can get more spreadable apartments or different areas that are further away. In this particular iterance though, the reason that they have a dual loop system is there's another system that automatically turns on as long as you have your heating system turned on. At 42 degrees, it'll actually start running the heat coil through your water compartments, through your gray water tank, under the floor, next to the door, so that you are not going to freeze this coach. So the only aspect of this coach that is still outside is going to be the gray water tank. But again, there's a hydronic heating element helping to prevent freezing. People take these coaches to Alaska. I mean, you can really get off grid with this coach. And one of the reasons that is because this coach has enough fuel, enough room for food, and it's got enough water. So a substantially increased water system as well. Now, as you can see here, I've got a 7-pin connector, a 5,000 pound towing capacity, and then I have access here to my little circuit breaker. Also have some 110 outlets. But another feature that they've done is they've come across, and instead of forcing you to carry, a Phillips, you actually have these nice twist to release bolts that you can actually use to access things like your battery compartment. So one of the things that we should talk about today is this battery compartment. So this battery compartment is charged a few different ways. There's a 215 watt solar panel on top that we also have out here just to show that you can do this if you're going to be forest camping and you're not going to be in a position where you want to move your coach, you want to kind of park and stay. This little 2800 Cummins gas generator is a fantastic way to be able to charge your coach. And we have this downrated to a 110, but this coach can actually take through its ecosystem management system, EcoFlow management system, it can actually take up to a 30 amp charge in this coach. The 5-in-1 system that they have with this coach is amazing. But back to batteries. So there's a few different ways to charge your batteries. One of them, of course, is going to be through your 30 amp power source. Another way that you're going to charge your batteries is going to be through solar. But this little battery system, as long as you see this little blue light going, your lithium ion battery is healthy. And what that means is that you have air conditioning for off-grid. But one of the things that's important to understand about the Revel is if you listen to anyone from Winnebago, they'll tell you this is an alternator dominant charging system. So there are 2 alternators on this coach. One's a 12 volt, one's a 48 volt. The 12 volt, of course, is a Sprinter alternator. It comes from the factory that way. But that, again, that EcoFlow management system allows you to go DC to DC conversion up to a 48 volt system. So this 48 volt system is going to give you a lot better sustainable power, a lot more longevity with your air conditioning unit, and you can even upgrade the battery system. So very, very cool that you can stay cool while you're camping in this coach. Now, of course, there's some nice mat backs here, but as you'll see, we got a regular defrosting windows. And then when I close this, you'll see they've got this really cool, again, magnetic ladder system. And this ladder system is really easy to get up onto. And one of the nice things is it's E-coated. So if you're actually using this coach for storage, you've got your rear view camera, but you've got this great system up top that actually has walls on it that will allow you to have storage. It's also keeping this Coleman Mach Q isolated and safe. It's also keeping your fantastic fan vent isolated and safe. So all of your components up here are housed within this wall. Of course, it also allows us to mount our Carefree awning. I've had that out twice this morning. We have wind sensors on it, so it keeps blowing shut. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the towel in for the day. But as you can see, nice wide-handled, very substantial ladder system. And then you can easily lock this rear door. Also, you'll note that I have another drop down. This drop down cover in the rear gives you not only all of this great storage, but it has a screen on it so you can keep the bugs out. And the fresh air coming in. You know, Jody, one of these days I'm gonna be taller and it's gonna be so awesome. That's not the screen zipper, Katie. The screen zipper's on the inside. Okay, hold please. Little magic trick. Okay, found it. Sorry about that, folks. So this little zipper, as you can see, gives you the ability to have a really nice ventilated rear compartment. And you can do it from outside, as I'm proving to you so effectively right now on national television. All right, so here we go. So check that out. So first of all, you've got this closed, right? If you want to be able to exit, you could do that. You want to be able to keep this bug-free, you can do that. And then it's got this great rolling system built into both the screen and the cover itself that make it really easy to roll up and put into place. So really cool system here. And as you can see, you can have it in place and close your doors. So if you maybe are pulling into a place like Lake Tahoe, you're not sure what the mosquito count's gonna be, you can go out there, open up your coach, get your gear from out down below without letting all the mosquitoes into your sleeping area. Now on the side here, I mentioned the Carefree awning. One of the nice aspects of this is it's gonna create a living room for you here by giving you LED lighting. So one of the things that Winnebago found in their focus groups is that lighting is really important when you get to your campsite. So being able to set up, even with the awning retracted, you have all this illumination outside of the coach, as well as nice LED lights on the outside for giving you just little switch lights. But here in the front, 11,000 lumens each, 22,000 lumens of lighting power. So not only do you have these really sexy Mercedes-Benz lights, this little portion here, this LED portion here glows. So it's a great deterrent for anyone coming to you head on in a foggy situation. But these are really nice adaptive headlights. They have automatic high beam control. They go up and down automatically as you cross, into traffic. If there's someone coming head on, it'll lower those high beams for you automatically. But when you get to your campsite and you're trying to find that little place off grid, you've got this great illumination here in the front of the coach. So lighting was one of the major points that they found in the focus groups. The other thing that we found is that these little side cameras that you have. So you have a little side camera here underneath, there's one in the back. So the overhead 360-degree cameras have become really important for people who are off-roading, because when you're getting into the nitty-gritty and you're trying to find a place to park, sometimes it's really nice to be able to see what's around you without having to have someone get out of the coach and to communicate with you either on their phone or with the windows down, especially in inclement weather situations. So surround view camera, great lighting. Of course, this is an all-wheel drive chassis. And one of the nicest features about this is that you don't have to engage the 4x4. Another nice feature of this chassis is that it still has all of the great Mercedes-Benz characteristics. Gigantic water bottle pockets here in the door, as well as map pockets, more bird books, whatever you might have down below. You've got your lumbar controls are pneumatic, so you've got air that goes into these seats. And in this particular coach, this one does not have the rear view, the dedicated rear view mirror, even though it's a 2025, and it also does not have the heated seats. That is because this chassis is $8,600 less. If you'd like to have one that has the heated seats and the dedicated rear view mirror, let me know. I have both in inventory. But if you're interested in saving that big hunk of money so that you can get into this 2025 Revel, not the Sport, this is a much higher caliber system in terms of the electronics in it. It also has a lot of nicer creature features inside and a better layout, in my opinion, too. So there's a few different ways to save money. I have 4 left that have this previous chassis versus the 2024, and again, the difference is going to be that rear view mirror and heated seats. All of that being said, though, these seats are super, super comfortable. They're very durable. It's a synthetic material that Mercedes-Benz has used on Sprinter vans since the dawn of time. The vents are really cool because you can actually change the direction of them in this like really nice circular fashion, so you can actually kind of pivot any direction, and then on and off is just a simple twist. So if you don't want the air conditioning on you, you don't have to have it. Another great feature of this coach is going to be all the storage that you have because of the fact that this is actually a workhorse, right? So you can keep your Red Bull here, keep your Monster here. Again, all of the Type-C inputs that you want. You could put your radar detector could be charged right here. Nice little place to put your phone. Lots and lots of cabinet space here. If you've got some skinny sunglasses, they'll fit in there. Don't bring your Pradas. And then also, as you can see, nice LED lighting where you can have it set where you've got map lights if you're trying to get on the road and you just want to be able to see the map in front of you. But really cool features. Things that you're going to get that you're not going to find missing in this chassis. Rain sensing windshield wipers. Really nice feature to have, especially driving through different types of conditions, because this is a truly all-season coach. This is great for going to Keystone. This is great for going to Big Sur. Speaking of Big Sur, I was down in Big Sur for about a week this week. Just got back yesterday, and oh my gosh, there were so many Revels down there with so many families camping out of them. I was really impressed. This is definitely the coolest coach in the campground. If you're looking, to go anywhere on these smaller, off-grid campsites, you can not only go to those, places that are unregulated, but you can also go to these state parks and get into places that have, nice showers and fit in 30 amp, 50 amp, all of that stuff. Okay, so this MBUX Connect system, so in other words, the navigation system is super, super cool. It has something called profiles. So profiles are usually designed so that you can create a profile for when you're camping, when you have different drivers. So let's say Bob has this, out for work, one part of the week, and then, Clyde has it the following week. In this situation though, you can create West Coast, Northeast, Southeast, California, whatever it is that you want for those profiles, that you can always have all of your favorite radio stations set. It's got a great media system. I did program my phone today just because I was listening to a podcast before I made my video. So as you can see, Space Kitten is connected to this coach. I can use voice control to make phone calls. It tells me what my phone charge is, it also tells me how many bars I have. So very, very useful information here. And then as you can see, I have all of this connectivity available to me with just the touch of a button. So here is that overhead camera system. Of course, you can see we've got that door open, but as you can see, you can even see the generator plugged in outside of this coach from overhead. And there are different views that you can use to look at. So if you're trying to park forward facing, you have a surround view forward facing. If you're trying to back up and you want to get your hitch lined up to your vehicle, to your tow vehicle, you've got that type of availability. And then again, you have that overhead camera, which makes it so useful to get in. But you can go into your maps, you can go to your radio. All of these things can be done with just a touch of a hard button down here, so you're not always leafing through that nav system. Nice pockets here, probably a good place to keep your AirPods. I dropped mine earlier. I'm gonna go ahead and put that right there in that little pocket. And then, okay, so park, shift, and reverse. How does this all work? So you push the button to start the coach, right? You can see I'm in park. There's a little P illuminated right here. If I go into reverse, it shows the R. You can see the camera comes up. But look at this camera. It has predictive guidelines on it. So I can tell which direction my wheels are facing and which direction I'm going to start reversing. Now, why is that important? Well, let's say that you're in a kind of a dicey area. You want to know which direction your wheels are facing before you start backing up. So very handy that you can do that by simply just turning the coach on. Also, you'll see that I have complete control of this menu with this little touchpad over here on the right-hand side. Whereas I have complete control of this menu over here on the left-hand side with this little touchpad. So I can see how many miles are on it. I could reset my trip computer. I can go to my drive assist features, my navigation. I can check in and see how many miles I have left for service, adjust my radio. All of this is done here. And then as you can see here, I've got set for my cruise control. And you'll see there's a little line here. If I'm setting my cruise control, I can choose to follow someone from far away or very close. So if I'm in downtown Los Angeles traffic, maybe on my way up to Gorda, I can get closer to those cars in front of me so they're not cutting me off. But if I'm on a long stretch, I can go ahead and stay further back. Now over here we have again that the windshield wipers have a sensor, or you can turn them on manually, of course, your turn signals, and then down here where you'll see your auto headlights, your full headlights, and your parking lights, you also have these two lights here. And these are gonna be the lights that you have giving you that, again, 22,000 lumens on that front of your coach. So nice little place to keep your insurance card, plenty of room in these pockets up top. And again, if you'd like to have this coach and save that, you know, that chunk of change, you can do that and still have an integrated mirror put into the coach at a different point in time. Dual single zone climate control, but climate control, which is nice, of course. That means that you're not going to have to worry about setting the coach, you know, to high heat and then looking down later on and wondering why you're sweating. It'll turn off at 73 or 72 or whatever you set it at. So now that we're through here, I think it's nice that you have a little place to keep your arm. As you can see, these are adjustable. They ratchet up to whatever height you need them. And then here you'll notice one of the cool features that Revel uses is, of course, materials. So one of the major upgrades that you'll have in this coach is that you have, first of all, these nice smooth materials to keep clean, and you'll find that throughout the entire coach. But these locks that actually lock, so you can see when they're open, they're red. So if you have something that's flying open, you can look back and go, oh, did I forget to close that? And you'll know when it's closed, first and foremost. But the next thing that's super cool about this is that this is made out of actual metal. So this is a really durable, insulated aspect of the coach. There's a ton of connectivity, again, 12 volt USB Type-C and a 110 outlets. And you'll notice there's a port that goes through to the roof. So if you wanted to run a Starlink, for instance, on the roof of this coach, you could very easily do that. But another major improvement in this 2025 Revel is this seating configuration. As you can see, this table is no longer oval. It's much wider. It's got a lot better space over here at the edges, giving you more room for your food. And also the chairs are substantially improved. So both of these chairs are adjustable. Oh, I've got that luminous bed here. I'm gonna put that up here. Ah, there we go. So both of these chairs are adjustable. I can slide them forward and back. And I can actually slide this chair further away from the person I'm sitting next to so I can have more room. So if I wanted to be able to have a little more elbow space next to my partner here, very different than the 2021 rendition of this coach, which, by the way, is the Sport. If you look at the Sport floor plan, it looks very much like the 2021 rendition of the Revel. Now I still have my openable and closable windows. Again, connectivity coming all the way through. This nice little track here, of course, you can buy all sorts of things to hang from here. You can hang an iPad from this coach. There's no TV in here. There's no microwave. We do have in the Revel a really cool bamboo cutting board extension that hides underneath it your true induction cooktop, which can be used both inside and outside. These true inductions, by the way, put a paper towel down on top of this cooktop and boil your hot water for your French press in 1/3 of the time at altitude that you would in gas, regardless of how gusty and breezy it is, and that paper towel will not catch on fire. So not only will you get that connectivity regardless of the breeze outside or inside, I guess, if you've got the doors open, but you can also do it safely without worrying about the little ones catching the RV on fire, which is always a plus. Another feature that you'll notice in this Revel is that this has that upgraded drawer system. Again, very much like what you'd find on a very nice high-end garage, with these metal drawer sidings, giving you a lot better durability for the long term. And of course, the ability to have this extendable cooktop is huge for anybody who's looking for extra counter space. Now, that is one of the changes that they made on this Revel, is they did away with the pantry that was right here. So I still have this space up top that I would have had in the pantry, but I've lost this space right here. Now I still have it down below, so it's not completely gone. It's different though. It's a smaller section, but what I've gained in this is a much, much larger cooking area for the coach. So as you can see, a lot more counter space here. This, by the way, is an E-coated bottle opener with the flying W on it. If you've never been to the factory to see what E-coating is, they literally cut their own metal to do whatever they need to make, right? So they can make their water tanks the shape of golf clubs. They can do whatever they want. They manufacture 75% of this product. That's why they can make these countertops so durable. They've tested these time and time again. They just make them better and better every year. But when they make these metal compartments, they literally dip these components into 10 different vats. The first one's the cleaning vat, and then it keeps going through this process, and it's electromagnetically like attaching the paint to the metal. And it's keeping it from having any kind of like place, like, you know, if you were to spray paint this, you might not catch the inside of this little W, but when you're submerging it in water, everything is getting e-coated, which is pretty fantastic. This Molly panel is also fantastic. It's great for carabiners. It's also magnetic. You can hang your, you know, your spatulas here. You can hang your cleaning wands here. And then also in the Revel, you will not have this, or I'm sorry, in the Sport, you will not have this, but in the Revel, you have this really nice spray and pour feature on your faucet. Nice aluminum sink. And then as you can see, these are all closed. If they were open, they would look like this. So you could see that they were open. Again, metal. This is the remote control for your Max air conditioner. Another nice drawer. And then I think this is where the magic would happen. You can get those little XO containers. You could fit a ton of stuff in there. And then as you can see, another zone for your heat. And then another feature of this coach that's different in the Revel versus the Sport is the Revel has a larger shower. It's got French doors. It's only got a single shelf here. You could certainly get a second shelf if you'd like to. Your cassette toilet is still that 5-gallon cassette. It makes this coach hugely useful in the winter not to have water on board. You've got your hot and cold shower. You've got your nice hanging rack here. They come with these great little containers to put your stuff in. I kind of want to have these if someone doesn't want them. This is the shower curtain. But another great feature is, watch this. See ya, Jody. This is designed so that if you're in the back getting dressed and you've got your door closed, you don't have to worry about the people hanging out at your campsite walking around and seeing you in your skivvies. I guess unless you wanted to, which you could, which is kind of weird, but if you felt like it, you could do that. But no, so that little shade that opens is just nice. Of course, they have these thermal window coverings that you can, you know, black out the interior of the coach. But sometimes you might not be doing that. You might be coming in late at night, you know, and jumping in bed, getting some shut-eye, and then hitting the road the next morning, and while you're getting dressed, you want to create a room where you've got a little more space to get up and get ready. Just open that little cover up. You got a nice little mirror here. The TP is covered. For me, I have a really big shower in my Superstar, and when I left, I built my first RV in 2014, and I had no idea that I was joining a cult, nor did I know that at that point in time, I would be finding myself selling a totally different rendition of a Sprinter van. So I sold Sprinter vans for 12 years, and now I work for Mercedes-Benz in a completely different fashion here in, at Transwest here in Frederick, Colorado, selling Revels. So if you want to buy a coach from somebody who actually knows a little bit about both sides of the product, I'm your girl. Okay, so let's see. We covered drawers. We got that covered. We showed this space. We showed this space up top here. Jody, what about behind you? Take a look at all this storage space up here. If no one knows what is so useful about this space up here is really going to be the fact that you have a place to keep your rain jackets, your umbrellas, anything that you want to have quick access to. And then there's that nice thick cover that you have for your windshield. And again, you can get magnetic covers for these windows, but these do already have blackout shades, and they're pretty substantial. So if you're like me, I don't have any coverings on my house windows at home. I don't really need them. There's a great little storage area down here. Oh, and we have to show them the place to put your kilos. Jody and I we make all sorts of funny little things when we're making these videos, and we found a great stash spot earlier. Okay, so check this out. I'm gonna go ahead and put this bed up, and you can see how much room you have underneath here. Check that out. And there's storage underneath as well. There's a nice little backpack, a place to keep all your spatulas, your knives, all of your cooking garb, a nice little place to hang things. Yeah, the little backpack's pretty awesome. Now here's our Timberline heat management system. As you can see, this coach is at 99% charge. It's getting a ton of solar right now. But an important thing to remember, this coach, if you wanted to charge this and it was completely dead, you could drive this for just an hour to the nearest trailhead and be completely charged up again. But this Timberline system is really the system that's giving you the ability to have this be a truly 3 or 4 seasons coach. With that Timberline system running automatically whenever you get below 40 degrees and keeping your temperature warm enough to keep your tanks from freezing, this is one of the only RVs that I know that's out there that you can't screw up. You can mess with the first zone and your hydronic system, but you cannot mess with that second zone. Now over here in the middle, you'll see that we have this great little refrigerator. It does actually have an ice tray compartment. But one of the nice things about this is that when they made this, they made it so that you could reach in and get your beer from outside of the coach. Genius. Love that. This is a smart design. So of course in 2021 they made this adjustable, which was a great idea. We definitely needed to have it be adjustable. But now it's on this little slide instead of having to actually adjust it with the regular loop. You can pull this up and down, so you could have it be at a different angle depending on how tilty the RV was. And it's super simple. I keep making everything look really hard. That's supposed to be simple, Jody. It's really easy, I swear. So check this out. Ever want to sit down next to your coach? Maybe you got your fire pit out here, you got your living room going, everyone's hanging out. You got a bench for like 5 or 6 people instead of a useless little muddy roll bar. You actually have a really nice metal bench that you can sit down on. And they've still given you this little area here where you can just slide your dog leash through, loop it through the handle, and attach it for the dogs. It's actually way more useful in that iteration than it was in the previous one where it was like a clamp. And of course, as you can see, Winnebago makes all this stuff so they can do whatever they want. I wanted to bring this to your attention too. 1,385 pounds of capacity. That is way better than like the Tiffin Wayfarer. It's way better than a lot of vehicles out there. And that's really important. Oh, I gotta turn this engine off. Speaking of turning this engine off, folks, few things to note. If you have your engine set to accessory and the brake is deployed, you could actually open in your awning, but the coach has to be on and the brake has to be engaged or it won't open. The other thing to talk about is the fact that this is a diesel vehicle, right? So what happens with DEF? It's got a particulate emission that comes out, it meets the DEF fluid, the particulate attaches to the DEF, and then it's further filterable so that you can run the diesel without a high particulate emission. It's what makes it a clean burning diesel. It's why we can sell them in the United States. It's why some other countries are so sooty. They don't have requirements like that. With the requirements that they are, this coach is catching that particulate and putting it in like a gallbladder. If you leave your coach running without getting that engine hot, and diesel engines run cooler than car engines do. If you leave this at idle for hours trying to charge your alternator, to charge your battery, you are going to foul your motor. So don't do that. If you want to use your coach and you want to use your alternator to charge your battery, drive. If you're not going to drive, get that generator. It's very important to get that generator if you're not going to drive. Now I know everyone's going to say, oh, but I have solar. Okay, solar's slow. You can buy a solar array. This control panel, this magnificent control panel that we have, can actually give you up to 1,600 amp hours or 600 watts of solar control. So this 215, you could add a whole bunch to it. But if you really want to have the most efficient use of space, and you're going to be in a heavily tree-covered area, and you're not going to want to move your RV, I would really encourage you to pick up a little generator. I think it's a great way to not have the issues that you would have with that aspect of the coach. Oh, sorry, fresh water, fresh tank drain, all over here. There's 3 of those little bad boys. And then when I close this, it's no longer got that silly push button. I guess that's still on some of the some of the Mercedes products. I'm not a big fan of the push button. I just like to slam it shut. You know why this is here, Jody? This is here to clean your windshield off, so you could step up there. I happen to have left this open just so I could show you underneath the hood, if you will. I'm a car girl, so this is the kind of stuff that actually really excites me. I love to see, oh, I'm so short. I'm a short car girl. I love to see a well-engineered product, but great little way to like not have a latch that's gonna fall back into the engine compartment. Easy access for adding your def. It's right here for your windshield washer fluid. Your def is on the door, so easy, I'm sorry, your def is right here. Easy access for both of your main things that you're gonna need to refuel beyond diesel. And speaking of diesel, so 24.5 gallon fuel capacity, which is pretty fantastic. The first time I ever went to fill up my coach with water though, with diesel, I couldn't find the diesel fueling station. I like walked around the coach because when you have this door shut, like seriously, like you can't even see it. So I had to like YouTube how to put diesel in my own Sprinter van that I sold to myself while working for Mercedes. It was so humiliating. So this little guy is not power, but these are power heated mirrors. These are your best friends. These are gonna show you who's next to you. But you see this little triangle up here? That turns red when someone is in your blind spot. So you have actual blind spot sensors on this coach. The other thing that happens is if you go over these lines, it's not gonna buzz you in the butt. It's not gonna, you know, make a ding, ding, ding sound. It literally is gonna push you back over into your lane of traffic if you start to drift off the road. Now, why is that important? Because we all know the same thing. Sometimes when you're on a long road trip and you just want to get to that next campsite, you might drive a little longer than you should. This coach is not only going to help keep you in the lanes, it even has something that can sense by the way that you're handling the steering wheel whether or not you're falling asleep. It's called Alert Assist. Mercedes has had it on their cars forever. It's on the Sprinter chassis. It's going to keep you from getting into a car accident. It's really fantastic stuff. Now you'll see back here, we talked about lighting. Once again, I do have this rear light out here. Now, why is this important? Because this is where you're going to be setting up. If you're attaching to your water, you need to have lights back there. Or if you're changing out your pooper or attaching your gray water. So 21 gallon gray water tank, 5 gallon cassette tank. The nice thing about this is you could seriously go dump this at McDonald's. They might not even know what it is. They probably do by now. They probably like, especially like near all the cool camp spots, they're probably like, oh my God, there's someone bringing their shitter in again. But anyway, so you could literally dump this at a rest stop. What's so nice about this is you don't have to go to a dump station and pay 10 bucks to dump it. You can dump it wherever you want. 35 gallons of water. Holy mackerel, that is so much water for a little van like this. The Echo's got 50 gallons, and this is only 12 gallons off of the Echo. By the way, if you haven't seen my Echo comparison videos, please look up Echo comparison videos. I have so many cool videos that show all of these products side by side and how they work. But again, 21 gallon gray water tank, really cool new all-terrain tire. This off-road package, of course, is gonna give you on this 144 chassis, the best ability to get out and off-grid. Again, overhead surround cameras are gonna give you that ability to really be able to get into parking spots that you couldn't before. We talked about wheelbase. Oh, length, 19 feet 6 inches, 9 feet 11 inches tall. Power locks, power window, 12-volt power points, sun visors, privacy shades, rain sensors, auto headlights, active braking assist. Yeah, you ever been in front of somebody who thinks that they don't want to get behind the slow van so they cut you off? This will keep you from hitting that asshole. But seriously, like this coach right here, state of the art. If you've got a nice car at home and you love getting out into the wilderness and you've been looking for a comfortable way to go camping, buy a 2025 Revel. Buy one for me. My name's Katie O'Neill. I'm coming to you live from Transwest Truck Trailer RV here in sunny Frederick, Colorado. Let me know how I can get you out on the road and camping.